Hey there, beautiful family of light. I was guided to come and talk to you about the changes we are now within, the shifts we're experiencing together, collectively, but also each of us on our own. I've been feeling much of those changes as well myself. So I did a post today on Facebook about this, but after that, I was doing a reading for myself and I got the transformation card within my Goddess Oracle cards. And I was guided to do a video about this as well because we are all being touched by this. And the moment I posted my words, I got so much responses, so many responses already, people feeling the same. So I would just like to read you the first part of what I wrote so that I have, like a template where I'm going to go next is into what I will speak about. So I asked you all if you already feel the effects of this new moon because we had a new moon on Saturday. It brought about new revelations. And it also, of course, every new moon that comes forth brings shedding of the old. And this is still we felt as this duality. We are already planting the seeds of the new, but at the same time, we're also being stuck within, certain old stuff that need to be removed. And that is why we still feel a certain amount of duality because, within the cycles of life, everything is interchanging and everything is spiraling. So at the same time, we have a full moon that clears away the old. They're always clearing of the old, like ripening of something, and then it falls away, whether it no longer serves us. And then we move into the states of new moons, and then we're presented with this void. Of course, the void is always needed for us to plant new seeds. For instance, if you imagine a field where a farmer may plant something, first everything needs to be set up for this process. So it needs to be prepared for the seeds then to start nourishing, the nourishing process. And then further on, how they are evolving, how they're being planted and also then how they're evolving. So within those voids, we actually have the time to reflect upon ourselves. So then, the way that we used to operate, for instance, like a while ago, then is no longer known to us. And it feels like we're losing a grip of that. And it's a good thing. So what I said was this. I asked you to feel any new energy downloads because we're all experiencing them now more than ever. And those downloads bring up new cleansing, which oftentimes results in a feeling of certain void. You might feel a void, this weird feeling of, oh, where am I, now at this place, posing such questions to ourselves. And those are actually also periods of feeling uncertain, disoriented, and emptied out. So if you do feel that way, you should know that this is all for your greater good because your body is experiencing so much change now, as we are in a huge vibrational shift. And this is especially so because the energy of the entire year is changing as we are shifting into the new energetic matrix, of course, of 2012. So our DNA is changing, in its template. Our vessels are then being purified. And it shall remain so within these current cosmic alignments and events. These certain events that we are now within and those that still follow, because I observe a lot of those astrological alignments. I'm not an astrologer myself. I'm not interested in that, but I do observe and I do see how everything is aligning as to fully support us, because I don't believe, as certain people, they believe that a planet can influence you, but it's not that way. It's not a passive approach. We are co-creating together all the consciousness within all that is, within a great divine plan of perfection. All is shifting. So, for instance, if someone would say, oh my God, because I'm a Virgo, this is my sun sign, but this is just my sun sign. I'm not a Virgo, so to say. As the same way I'm not just a Polona, this is just a part. So some people might say, oh my God, Mercury is going retrograde in my sign, or, ooh, Mars is going retrograde in my sign. What's this going to mean for me? But usually we don't see that we are co-creating this together, and that when this is done for a greater good. So everything that will need to be removed will be removed. The divine will is always unfolding, whether you're aware of it or not. So we might feel very different now also within certain short periods of time. We have For instance, we're experiencing huge highs and lows in a very short time frame, for instance, or we lack greater focus and orientation about something that we just felt very enthusiastic about like a week ago. And then a week after, we might be feeling, but where has this enthusiasm gone, you know? And this is because what no longer serves us needs to be removed from us. Sometimes we feel that something is good for us, but as humans, we don't always know what is good, best for us. And our I am presence and all of our guidance within higher dimensions where we are already also existing already knows, and they support us, and we're always divinely guided. So on the higher levels and physically, these things are being removed from us, from our awareness, whether we have a hold tight grip on it or not. It doesn't matter. This is just a perception of how difficult that will seem to us. It can be viewed as very challenging, very difficult, or very, natural. So this is being removed from within to without, and at such times it is best to just remain a neutral conscious observer that does not associate with our life story. And when we are this conscious observer, we just allow that integration and those events to unfold naturally, because this is how it is within divine plan unfolding. So the things that are most profound usually are not tangible, and they're not so physically apparent always, so obvious, because what is of great importance is oftentimes not seen with the visible eyes. And I do wonder, do you feel those changes? Do you feel, if you just look 1 year back in your life, do you feel how you have profoundly changed in your nature? Because in fact, this is not even a change. This is just us claiming back our own I am. This is us shedding off those layers that are not even us, the layers that we have needed in order to learn certain lessons to grow and evolve into our I am. But when this is done, it no longer serves us. So whether we know that as humans or not, this is all done by us, for us, and with our cosmic alliance always following us on our path together. This is just, this beautiful way being paved for us. So the thing is, as I always say in my videos, they're about ascension pioneers, they're about the forerunners, but also about everyone on this path, because everyone is on this path anyway, because there's no such thing as the linear time. Time is a web. So we're all on this path, no matter where we are in our evolution of consciousness and the development within our being that we are here now. So this is about telling you all that when you understand such a shift, you will much easier flow with it. For instance, when I go within my own challenges, because sometimes they come, these thoughts that just enter your subconscious, or they enter on a very conscious level and you're aware of them. What do you do in order to divinely transmute them, through divine alchemy? What you do is you just observe. You don't associate with anything of it. For instance, how this have influenced my life is, let me tell you my example. On Christmas Day, I went hiking to beautiful snowy mountains, and it was a beautiful day. And when I was there, I was just observing the sun and a 360-degree view from up there. It was amazing. And I experienced such huge energy download. My entire base chakra was vibrating and was feeling the intense impulses, like tingles. You often feel that yourself as well. I know you do. So when I was just standing there, these are my standing meditations. Now it's winter time, so it's not warm enough to sit down. It depends, there was this tiny lodge there, so I could sit as well. But mostly I do standing meditations, and I just stand there and breathe the prana and breathe those etheric imprints that mountains have there. I'll explain this a bit later. I just am, and I just focus on breathing all of that and just, breathing those new energies in. And that's all I do. I don't do anything else. I just merge my I am presence with all that is around me. And mountains are like portals. All the new energy is shifted there first. So I noticed that I was getting so much hungry that day. I was like, why do I want to eat so much? Because usually when I go to the mountains, I'm not so hungry. And I felt that this is about forming this template that my being needs right now for these changes, for these new energies, because our bodies are our vessels for ascension, our vehicles. So they oftentimes tell us what is necessary for us. Our body is a divine intelligence itself. So it knows before we do. So if your body tells you, I'm hungry, feed me, you do feed it. You know that this is something different going on now. Well, you have to feed it light foods, of course, in order for you to truly support your body, not downgrade it even further. You have to assist your body. You're like a caretaker of it. So basically, when I do those meditations, I usually feel how these energies, how these energetic meditations are different. They vary, and this one was very intense. And when I got home, because the last day it was a Christmas Eve, and I didn't go to bed until probably 3 a.m. I was just feeling such an intense energy, and the new moon was in Capricorn, and I have a moon in the Capricorn as well, and this I felt was very intense for me. This is especially, this was very enhanced for me at this level, and I felt this enter my being. I just couldn't go to bed on Christmas Eve. I was just, wide awake like this, like now. And so I didn't sleep a lot. And the next day I go hiking, I go on a trip, and I drive, and all those things. So when I got home, I was just tired. I couldn't even open my emails, nothing. I went straight to bed, slept for 12 hours, and the next day I felt, like I usually feel with those energetic downloads, hyper, all is love, I'm in love, all is beautiful. But just within the few hours, it's like, ooh, like what just happened, in just a few hours. And this is what I always explain to you. When we get bursts of new energies, we get so uplifted. We're like, we have never been, feeling that way before. We're like, we love all life, all is magical, all is enchanting, which it is. But this is how we eventually will always feel. But while we are still progressing towards there, we are experiencing those shifts. And this is natural, when we just know that this is the case, when we don't think that there's something wrong with this. And this is why so many of us are already speaking about this, in order for all of us to go through that process in a much easier way, because it is an intense process. You all know it and you all feel it. And especially now when we're culminating towards the end of the year, when we're going to enter a whole new energy. So for me, just within those few hours, my energy shifted. But all I could do is just observe it. If I would, again, go into associating with it, that doesn't bring me anything, doesn't help me, doesn't assist me on my path. I have to assist my being. My personality has to be as aware as well, because the same way, all is intertwined. The same way your being assists you assist your being, because you're a one. Your personality is a part of your being, but it's also one with it. So when you deeply understand that, you do just become this conscious observer of all that is. How I have also experienced this lately is this deep feeling of oneness, this deep longing to merge with my twin flame, reunite in the physical, and has been deeper than ever before. So oftentimes when that is not presented to me in the physical, I have those, moments of feeling a bit impatient. It goes away then. But they're just moments. And when I just consciously observe, I just say, I trust in the divine plan unfolding for me as it should, because it is unfolding within the divine time. There's no time, there's just divine timing, and this is how it is. So breathing, grounding, and coming back to that realistic state, because we might get over enthusiastic while we within those energy rushes of intense downloads. But as I say, this is how we will progress towards eventually feeling that way. But that elevated state in a grounded sense, because this is our true I am presence, is feeling that joy, but not being, all over the place, but feeling that from within, feeling that so deeply. But you could look at a certain person just sitting there, but inside of that person, there could be mountains moving. And I mentioned earlier, and I need to finish this, about the mountains. Why do I feel so urged to go there? This is a story that is like a love story to me. For me, mountains are not just a physical place that I visit, or, oh, I love the mountain landscape, I'll go there. Certain people, how they go there for physical recreation, for their sport activities. It is not such for me. Because what mountains are in truth, and I do know this from a fact, because I am one of those beings that has always had this connection with it. Mountains, if you look at how the terrain of the earth, how the earth's field, the mass of earth has been changing and shifting throughout the millions and eons of time, you see the shifts. And mountains are, how they were elevated, how they were made through those plates, hitting against each other, and how everything was changing, and how, that we had developed civilizations ending because of how they went too further in a certain state that was not within the balance of the divine God self. So mountains are like leftovers of this pure ancient energy. This is the energy of the wise ones, of the ancients, of the high priests. This is the energy, and also the portals. There are the portals there in the mountains. If you would go there, and if you're a sensitive empath, if you do know these things, you would feel that instantly there. You wouldn't just feel them as their beauty, because they are beautiful. To me, they're perfection. To me, they're everything. Also in that way, but they have these energetic imprints that are beyond what we just see here in the physical. They carry these ancient energies that were dominant here at a certain time periods where humanity was very evolved, but then also we all know that they devolved as well and those civilizations ended. So for me, every single time, I see that this is concurrent. When there's a certain energetic shift or a certain very important cosmic alignment going on, I'm guided to go to the mountains, and I go. And sometimes I will also go there to ground myself a bit further. For instance, on the Saturday, I was more just there activating all of the new. And tomorrow I'm guided to go again to ground myself a bit. Because if I just stay at home, because I'm like an elemental, I need to go out. Like if you have a crystal and if you keep it inside the house all the time, it eventually will start vibrating, pulsating at its natural frequency. You need to put it out as well. It is not made to be just within the closed indoor spaces. This is how I am as well. This is how all of us are. It's just that some feel it better than others, more intensely. So it varies. And tomorrow I'm guided to just go there to ground myself, because I was inside the whole day yesterday, and I was just observing how I'm feeling and how everything is overflowing my being. So this is for me, and this is how I share my journey with all of you. And I know you have your beautiful, unique journeys as well. And as to say a bit about 2012, I'm gonna make a special video about a few guidelines for the 2012 and welcoming the new year, of course. But the thing is, what I would now like to say is, we all understand that every month has a special frequency, as to every day has a special frequency. As we know that within hyperspace, the universal language, we have the language of geometric patterns, the color, the tone, the sound, and within that we also have numbers. The numbers carry their own frequency as well. So every day is a special number. Every month is a special number. Every year is a special number. So imagine as to how we felt intensely shifting during certain weeks, or new moon cycles and full moon cycles, and then solar cycles. The moon has a cycle of 28 days, and then the solar cycle has 365 days, and so on. Ooh, 2012 is going to be, leap year, so we're going to have one day more. So this is another beautiful confirmation that 2012 is very special. But understand that within a year leap, there's a huge cycle going on, because the entire vibration, it's no longer 2011, it's 2012, and the vibration changes and it shifts. And there's many people talking about this now, and I'm going to put a link in my content box about this beautiful video about the transitioning from 2011 to 2012 as well. This lady speaking very beautifully about this, and I'll share that as well for all those of you who are guided to see it. So imagine that this week is probably one of the very intense weeks, and we have had 3 very intense weeks, and many of us feel it. There have been so much things going on, and so on so many levels. But when something resurfaces that doesn't feel like it's a part of the new, embrace it, and know that this is something that needs to resurface, because it needs to be washed away, and the pure light of the spirit can assist you with that, and you are that light. So much love on this week. Have a beautiful holiday week, and I'll talk to you for the new year, okay? Bye-bye, my lovely Ascension Pioneers. Bye-bye.